The question goes, if you were a cactus, why? Good morning. So it is now 11:30 a.m. and well, the weather is really good. It's overcast, it's cloudy, and it's probably gonna rain. There's a little bit of drizzle, but I hope it will not rain strong today because it already rained strong yesterday. And today I can no longer delay. I need to really pot up the succulents that I've rescued that have suffered from the typhoons last June, July, and it's already been over a month. It's now halfway through September. We are now halfway through September, and I still haven't potted up the succulents. Um, but you know what? Here's the deal. There's an advantage to that, to be honest. So these are the succulents that I have rescued, and one tiny little bit of advantage is that they have been air dried. So although they've been sitting uh, in here in this tray for a while, one advantage was they have been air dried. They have been dried up. So yung mga rot nawala na. Yung mga dating nag-rot, medyo nawawala naman na. Although namatay na ng tuluyan yung mga talagang hindi na maisisave. But at least, ang advantage nito is nag-dry yung succulents. So, makikita na natin na mas maigi kung ano yung mga pwedeng mag-thrive, yung pwedeng mag-survive. So, just like this one, for example, it's growing tiny little babies, although yung gitna, yung mother plant sa gitna, isa siyang cluster kasi. But yung ano sa gitna is totally, rotten na. But it's okay kasi the top part still growing a little bit of baby. I can snip that off and still be able to rescue the plants. Although they're in different shapes now because they've been like laid flat. And they're trying to reach for the sun. Although they're still rescuable. So that's one advantage. Although these plants are already thirsty, so they need to be potted up immediately. And somehow I've already cleaned up parts of the balcony. It's not 100% because minsan yung katawan natin hindi naka 100%. So although gusto natin mag-clean up ng balcony, like full force, ganun, general cleanup. Sometimes, unti-unti lang kaya natin gawin dahil minsan nahihilo tayo, nasosobrahan sa kape. Ganun. But anyway, I've already cleaned up part of the balcony and somehow my tools, I can already find my tools. They're no longer all over the place and easily I can do stuff. And I've already set up this table here semi-permanently until for the last quarter of the year perhaps, because this is gonna be like my temporary makeshift work table for now, because I'll be working on all of the succulents in this area. I'm planning to put them, most of them here, although some are still gonna be on the other end of the balcony where they can get the sunshine from the east in the morning. But mostly I'll put my propagations over there. I'm planning to put them in a tray. Anyway, so today, although today's not a part of the plan, but I mean it's not a part of today's plan. I really actually wanted to still finish cleaning up everything, but somehow it's kind of clean naman na. So medyo clear na rin yung mind ko. So right now ang priority na talaga is kailangan na talagang i-prioritize itong succulent. So that's what I'm gonna do. This is gonna be easy actually. I mean, it wouldn't take 3-4 hours maybe. It would only take a few hours. So I can already finish that today, I guess. And that's what we're going to do. So let's get started. Let me just get my pots. Actually, I already bought pots a few months ago pa, or a few weeks ago. And that's what I'm gonna use for now. Propagation pots. Anyway, ano naman, maliliit lang na pots yun. Kakasya yung mga ito doon. And I still haven't really washed the old pots. It's just there sitting nakababad sa tubig, which is not good dahil yung plastic yun, baka masira yung pots nakababad sa tubig. Anyway, let's get started. It's just a chill afternoon, chill day actually. We're just gonna chill, nothing, maybe pot and talk. So maybe, yeah, magkwentuhan na tayo habang nagpapaso. I mean, this is an easy afternoon. It's a Monday, and I decided to just continue cleaning the rest of the balcony within this week, some other day. Ito muna ang unahin natin para maklear na rin ito sa aking isipin, mawala na sa isipin. And yeah, we're just going to chill. And as promised, di ba nung nakaraan, pinangako ko sa inyo na habang nagpapaso, ikukwento ko kung paano tayo nagsimulang mangolekta ng succulents and paano tayo na-addict sa pangongolekta ng succulents. So yun, let's get started. Let me just set up our camera for you to be able to see what I'm actually doing. So see you in a bit. Not a very pretty pot, but it's okay. Yan know kung aabot tayo ng matagal, but the goal is to pot up all of these, and hopefully we can finish. And it's just a chill afternoon. Actually, late na ng hapon, 2:15 p.m. And that is because nung sakto kanina, nung after kong mag-record ng first ng intro, bigla namang umulan nung nag-set up na ako dito. Umambon ng malakas. Ambon yun, pero malakas na ambon. Iba kasi yung ulan. Anyway, so umambon na malakas, and then so nag-lunch na ako dahil total gutom na rin lang. And then, after mag-lunch, naghugas and all, and yada yada yada. So, ngayon pa lang tayo makakapag-parap. Anyway, it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And, like I said, this is just gonna be a super chill potting session. Ay, wow, potting session. Can I use that word? Potting session. I'm potting my plants. Potting up my plants. And I got here black square pots. I think this is 6.5 centimeters. And this one is like 7.5 centimeters. So, yan yung pinagkaiba nila. So, I got 36 pieces of this. 3 dosena. Tapos isang dosenang maliliit. Mas gusto ko na tong square pots kasi yung white na bilog, ang hirap niya sa storage, ang bulky. So, anyway, ang ipapaso lang natin today is kung ano ang mapapaso natin hanggang magsawa or hanggang maubos yung pots or hanggang matapos natin lahat to. Pero isa ang sigurado, tatapusin ko lahat na ipot itong rescued succulents kung kaya nating magawa ng mas mabilis, mas maganda. I think ang recording ng camera natin nagka-cut off siya every 20 minutes. So, anyway, itong halaman na to, tumubo na yung roots niya, ganyan. But, nag-rot dito sa area na to. Pero, hindi ko siya puputulin. Kasi, para meron siyang anchor kapag sinaksak natin sa soil, tapos, tatabunan ko na lang siya hanggang dito. Kasi, anyway, dry naman na siya eh. Para may anchor lang. Okay lang, tabunan natin hanggang dito. Kung rotted sana siya, puputulin ko. Pero okay lang, dry na. So yeah, let's start with this plant. I don't know what plant this is. Uy, nagtubo ng ugat kahit nahati yung dahon. Oh. I don't know if you can see that. Pero tumubo ang ugat kahit na nahati yung dahon. Usually, dapat sa dulo ng dahon, di ba? Anyway, this is a very beautiful plant. I think lovely rose hybrid daw yata to, but I'm not sure. Anyway. Right. Oh. You know what? Okay na yata yung holes nito. Or medyo malalaki pa rin. So, lalagyan ko pa rin siguro yata siya ng mesh. Kasi, na-realize ko, kaya pala marumi yung plant rack ko kasi pag umuulan ng malakas, nag-i-splash talaga yung soil sa ibabaw. So, this time, yung mga ilalagay ko sa plant rack na pots, lalagyan ko ng top dressing. Usually, yung top dressing gusto ko siyang gamitin para lang sa aesthetics. Yun nga lang, baka kailanganin ko maglagay ng dressing sa mga to kasi nag-i-splash yung tubig pag nauulanan. Hindi pa masyadong matigas yung soil kapag kabagong pot lang. Ang nangyayari, nadudumihan yung plant rack. Kailangan ko na namang doblehin ng linis. Nilinisan ko na siya last time, di ba? Nakita niyo sa last na video natin. Nilinisan ko yung plant rack, inisprayan ko ng water spray para kasi malakas magtanggal ng ano yun, lumot. Tsaka mas mabilis. Yun nga lang, nung umulan kahapon ng malakas, na ano ulit, nadumihan ulit. Ang bilis madumihan kasi naglagay ako ng mga pots doon na walang halaman, soil lang. Ang laki nito. So yun, baka maglagay ako ng top dressing or not. Or yung mga bagong pot na plants, hindi ko na lang ilalagay sa plant rack. Para pag umulan, hindi na madudumihan, hindi na mababasa. Ayun. So, as promised, nga pala, by the way, kwento natin kung paano tayo nagsimula sa succulents. Why did I start with planting succulents and how I got started with potting some succulents. I mean, growing succulents. So, sasagot tayo ng ilang mga questions kasi nakailang post na rin ako ng video and maybe hindi ko pa napapakilala sarili ko. My name is Rissa. Rissa. But my nickname is Rissa. So you can call me Rissa. Wag na yung mga mom. I'm 40. Yep. Age reveal agad. So if you think I'm older than you, then you can call me ate. Or if you are older, then I'll call you ate or kuya. Right? But, yep. So, my name is Rissa. Call me Rissa. Mas maganda kung Rissa na lang. Kahit Pilipino tayo. Tayo kasi mga Pilipino, magalang tayo. Ma'am. Lalo na kung first time lang natin nakita yung tao. Tawagin natin ng ma'am. Pero ano kasi ako, nasanay ako sa online na trabaho kung saan. You know what? Babawasan ko yung nito. Bawasan ko yung stem. Sa online na trabaho kung saan ang clients, ang mga kausap ay Americans. And the Americans, they don't really like being called ma'am or sir. Pag nag-ma'am ka, sabi nila, don't call me ma'am, I'm not a teacher. Or I'm not in the Navy or in an army or whatever. So, they're gonna say that this is rotten. This is rotten. This is a new cut. But this is dry, a little bit dry. So, tatanim ko na siya agad. After mapasok nito, hindi ko muna siya agad didiligan para matuyo yung soil, hanggang matuyo yung soil bago ko didiligan. So, ilalagay ko tong mga bagong pots na doon sa area na hindi nababasa. Anyway, where were we? So yeah, just call me Rissa. Wag na yung ma'am. Sa mga Pilipino lang yun. Alam ko mga Pilipino naman tayo, but naiilang kasi ako kapag minamam ako. Parang, ano lang naman tayo. Ordinary person. Anyway, so, the first question is, how did your journey with plants begin? Yeah, how did my journey with plants begin? It started during the COVID-19. Actually, but before COVID-19, gusto ko na rin na mga magtanim-tanim. Pero, alam mo yun, yung gusto mo lang pero hindi mo naman talaga ginagawa. And wala kaming masyadong alam tungkol sa paghahalaman, hindi masyadong uso. Lumaki ako sa isang city kung saan ang area ng kinalakahan namin na lugar is hindi naman ganun karami yung land area para makapagtanim ng kung ano-ano. So, in short, hindi kami lumaki na mahilig sa pag-grow ng stuff, ng things. And until today, dito sa bahay na to, 30 plus years na kami nakatira dito. Mostly concrete itong bahay. That's why, kung makikita niyo yung mga halaman ko, nakapaso lahat. Nasa balkon lang. Kasi we don't have that kind of soil to plant stuff. Hindi naman kami lumaki sa probinsya. So, hindi rin kami marunong magtanim, in short. So, but how? So, it started in the COVID-19 pandemic where I thought I wanted to plant edibles. Kasi parang naisip ko, what if nag-lockdown and then sana kahit pa paano man lang maging self-sustaining, di ba? Kasi tumaas yung mga presyo ng ibang mga paninda and then lockdown, hindi makalabas. So at least kung mag-zombie apocalypse, meron kaming pagkukuhanan ng makakain, di ba? Something like that. So I was thinking, I really wanted to plant edibles. And then I'm fascinated with the tomatoes because they grow easily. So yeah, I wanted to plant tomatoes, but usually kapag may tumutubong mga buto ng kamatis dyan sa tabi-tabi, wala, andun lang, napapabayaan hanggang masira na. Kasi pag tumubo sila sabay-sabay, di ba? Tapos, hindi naman maaasikaso. So, mamamatay lang. Anyway, so I wanted to plant edibles. Honestly, I didn't even know what succulents were back then. I only know about cacti, the thorny desert plants. And that was pretty much it. It's like, alam ko lang cactus, yung may tusok-tusok. But then succulents, alam ko may mga halaman na medyo parang iba-ibang klase. Meron yung makapal ng dahon. Pero I didn't really give much attention about it. So, yeah. So, that's the journey of the plants. It started in the pandemic when I wanted to plant edibles. And what got me into gardening in the first place? Originally, so I wanted to plant edibles. I started with a few plants that I bought in the Baguio Orchidarium. That's a local plant shop here in our place. And usually, when you buy edibles, yung herbs, 300 yung presyo nila. So, I started with a couple of pots, 300. I bought parsley, peppermint, chili, celery, lettuce. Typical garden stuff that I thought I could cook with. And that's how I started. And then, kapag ka may mga binibiling onion, leeks, and yung mga celery, ganun, putulin ko yung ugat, tapos sasaksak ko lang sa soil, tapos tutubo na. Until one time, natuwa ako dahil meron akong celery, ang ganda ng tubo. Ang lago, pati parsley. I'll show you the pictures, the videos I have clips from my plants from a long time ago. So yeah. Okay, anyway. So, did it evolve from there? I mean, how did you get from edible plants to succulents? So, here's the thing. At some point, during the plant discovery, passion thing, whatever, at some point, one of my mom's friends gave her a pot of strawberries. And, oh, cool, sabi ko. Wow, pasok ng strawberry. Ang ganda siguro kapag may sarili kang strawberries pag namunga ito ako sa loob-loob ko. And I like strawberries. And I know strawberries are quite expensive and hindi naman kami madalas bumili ng strawberries. Usually, nabibili namin ng mga prutas yung dalandan, saging, ganon. Anyway, so my mom one day came home with a pot of strawberries, and I started kind of caring for it and discovered that strawberries produce these little runners which you can use to propagate new plants. I had no idea that was possible. I mean, I didn't even know that they are called runners, and I thought it was so cool. So that's when I really started to fall in love with gardening, watching something grow and then bear fruits. It is just so satisfying for me. Uh, and then, so yung strawberry na yun, nag-produce siya ng runners, di ba? And pinasok ko yung runners na yun. Mga ordinary na paso lang naman siya. Mga plastic cups, ganun. So, whatever it is that I can find, mga pinag-inuman ng milk tea or plastic cups or lata ng sardinas, lata ng cat food, whatever. So, pinasok ko yung mga runners ng strawberry. And that's how it all started. Okay. So, next question. Where do succulents come into the picture? I mean, was there a specific moment that sparked my fascination with succulents? Yes, actually. So, there was this random but memorable moment during a job interview. So the interviewer asked me a personal type question. So the question was, personality type question kasi siya. Kasi ang in-applyan ko noon, call center, and may series of exams sila, di ba? Written exam, skills exam, yung computer skills exam. And then, there is this oral exams to test your speaking skills, and customer service skills exam, etc. So there is this personality type question that they asked, and the question goes, if you were a cactus, why? Right? So that's the question. If you were a cactus, why? Okay, anyway, I'll answer that more on that a little bit later. I-restart ko lang ang recording kasi hindi ko alam kung nag-stop na, baka mabitin tayo. Ayun, sabi ko na nga ba nag-stop na. Kanina pa pala nag-stop. I didn't even know. So the question was, balikan natin yung question kasi I don't know kung saan ako naputol. So the question was, the personality type question. So where does my succulents fascination come into the picture? Was there a specific moment that sparked my fascination with succulents? And the answer is yes, actually. So there was this one random but memorable moment during a job interview where the interviewer asked me a personality type question. And the question was, if you are a cactus, why? And it totally stunned me. I was so stunned, I didn't know what to say. By the way, I passed that interview and got the job at a call center. But that question stuck with me for a while. Later on, so that question was like fascinating. It's like, syempre, di ba, after mo ma-interview, isipin mo kung, oh, did I answer it right? Oh, I should have answered it this way. Kasi ang purpose ng question na yun is kung paano yung sentence construction skills mo at kung paano mo i-organize yung ideas mo. Yun ang minimeasure dun sa question na yun. Anyway, so hindi ko alam kung ano mga pinagsasasabi ko nun. So, if you're a cactus, why? And I wanted to answer in a way na dapat pala sinagot ko siya yung kung paano yung resilience ng cactus. Nandun sila sa gitna ng desert, pero kayang-kaya nilang mabuhay. Tapos pwede ko siyang i-relate sa tao, resilience, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. Anyway, so that question was stuck in my mind for a while, even after that interview. And I should have answered it this way, that way, whatever. And then, later on, when I started researching more about plants, ibang timeline na to, mga later na ilang years nang nakaraan. So, nag-start na rin akong mag-research about plants nung nagkaroon na ako ng kaunting interest. And it hit me how clever that question really was. But I still wasn't into planting that time. I mean, I just made like a couple researches how I could have answered that question. So that's when I started learning how cacti and succulents survive extreme desert conditions. I was amazed by how they are shaped, how they store water, how they conserve sunlight, how they defend themselves from animals, how they reproduce, like how they bring out colors so that they can reproduce, what are the ways they do to attract pollinators, stuff like that. So that one question, it opened a whole new perspective for me. A whole new perspective about succulents, cacti and succulents in general. Oh, this is too big for this pot. I'm gonna have to put this in a bigger pot. Hanap ako ng pot later. Anyway, so during the pandemic, everyone was suddenly into plants, right? Dumami mga plantito. At I guess isa ako doon kasi nga at that time, naiisip ko na, ewan ko kung kayo rin, siguro nung pandemic, nandun kayo sa bahay, naisip nyo rin, gusto ko magtanim ng halaman na pwedeng kainin. Pwedeng ulamin, pwedeng iluto. Ganun. So during the pandemic, a lot of people suddenly got into plants. And then one day, nung medyo open na, nung pwede nang lumabas-labas ng konti, around 2021, so my friends, they invited me to go out and buy succulents. And honestly, I didn't want to because I wasn't interested. But I just wasn't into, also, I wasn't into buying plants. Gusto ko, I want to grow them. And of course, libre, ganun. I wasn't interested, but I went anyway because I was hoping to score some good strawberry varieties from their relatives' gardens because that friend of mine, she has a relative and her relatives have gardens. They plant flowers, cut flowers. They have a cut flower business, and then they also would sell strawberries. She's one time before nung pandemic, one day, namitas kami ng strawberries dati. Doon kami bumili sa garden nung pinsan niya. Anyway, so actually at that day I had no luck on strawberries, but I went with them anyway, hoping that I could score a good variety of strawberries. And because the strawberries that I had were very small, and I wanted to find a good variety. So I ended up no luck on strawberries, by the way. At the end of the day, no luck. They weren't growing strawberries that time, and hindi kami nakapunta dun. But napunta kami dun sa isang pinsan niya. So I ended up buying a couple of succulents, 400 pesos worth of succulents, and that was like 20 pesos each. hindi ko pa alam kung ano yung mga succulent na yun noon. Basta bumili-bili lang ako. Sabi nila, mura, mura, mura. Ha, mura? 20 pesos? Namamahalan na ako noon dahil wala nga akong alam succulent. Pero nung pandemic pala talaga is talagang ubod ng mahal ng succulents. Libo. Daan-daan, libo-libo. Anyway, so 20 pesos, mura nga naman pala talaga yon. But for me, that was expensive because I wanted to have free, free plants. Anyway, and then it turned out that that first batch of succulents that I bought worth 400 pesos, it turned out to be my starter kit. Yun na pala ang starter kit ko. And I kept digging deeper. I'm trying to figure out what types of succulents those were, yung mga binili ko. And I stumbled across plant websites, YouTube channels, and that's when the fascination really took hold. Natuwa na ako sa succulents after that kasi na-realize ko na, oh, ang dami palang succulents, libo-libo. Libo-libong varieties. And later on, I found out na those succulents that I bought, the first batch of succulents, mostly Francesco Baldi or also known as Darly Sunshine, Graptoveria Darly Sunshine, or Francesco Baldi. So regular and crested. But then the crested ones, I'm not sure if those are crested Francesco Baldi or crested moonstones because they do like crested moonstones. At least according sa mga ni-research ko noon nung panahon na yon. Crested moonstone daw yun. And then, Black Prince. Noon hindi pa ako nakikitan, sabi, oh ito rin Black Prince, bilhin mo na. 20 lang yan. Very well, na siya, nakababad sila sa araw noon nung bumili kami. Sabi ko, uy, babad na babad sa araw, tapos ang itim-itim. Sabi ko, ayoko itong halaman na tumukang patay. Ayoko yung kulay, kako pa sa loob-loob ko. But anyway, bumili na rin ako para meron na mga ibang klase kasi karamihan na nang kinuha ko yung mga moonstone dahil medyo cute naman siya kasi bilog-bilog yung dahon kako. But then I ended up buying Black Prince which wasn't my favorite then. All of which were not really a favorite of mine. I didn't know what those were. But fast forward to today, I love Black Prince and I lost all of those plants actually. My starter kit are all gone already kasi ilang beses ko na rin silang na-neglect but I was able to propagate them and they grew really nicely before. But they all got lost dahil nakailang beses kaming umuwi sa Zambales and I was busy with something else. In short, na-neglect ko siya ng matindi. Yeah, so that's it. Alright. Okay. Ano ba? May maipapaso ba tayo? Parang ang dami kong daldal. Ilan pa lang na ipapaso ko? 4, 5. Anyway. Ayan. Pwede na yan. Ayaw niyang mag-touch sa soil. Ayan. Bahala na siya i-figure out sarili niya kung paano siya tutubo. Dahil ang liliit ng pots. And hindi ko ba nahugasan yung white pots ko na iba. Andun pa rin. Nakababad sa tubig. Which is not dapat kasi masisira yung pots. Rurupok. Anyway. I'm gonna keep using these black ones. Dahil tamad na ako. Super tamad na ako talaga. Hindi kaya kumuha ang dito. May nakakarinig kaya sa akin. Somebody's watching me. Alright. Yeah, so that answers the question. Where did the succulents come into picture? It was during the pandemic when I was supposed to buy edible plants. But then my friends asked me to go buy succulents with them. So I went anyway and then I ended up buying a couple of succulents. I made a couple of researches and then I got fascinated. Okay, but the next question is, yep, may kodigo ako kasi ito yung mga common na questions so that you can also get to know me a little bit and get to know about my succulent journey, right? So, yun. So, pandemic siya nagsimula. Okay, question. What was your first succulent? Technically, my first was an Echeveria imbricata. Common name, rose cabbage. So technically, first na succulent namin. And of course, I didn't know the name back then because I didn't know anything about succulents. Later on ko na lang na-find out kung anong pangalan niya. Anyway, so I didn't know its name back then. It was actually a gift, a token gift from a wedding that was given to my sister. Not my sister's wedding. They attended a wedding and then they took home a token gift from that wedding. And it was a succulent. It was nicely packaged with a thank you note, yada yada yada. And no one really cared about it. So they just put them in the garden. Garden, we didn't even have a garden. It's like we have a group of plants na inaalagaan noon. Kunwari lang na mga inaalagaan pero we don't really care, right? So anyway, so we added that to our plant area. And we forgot about it. No one really cared about it, but it thrived in full neglect. It was just there, getting rained on. It was scorched in the sun. We didn't know, I don't know, during summer. So it's just there, soaking some water, soaking some sunshine. But it thrived. It survived. Succulents, you leave them be and they thrive, right? And then you start taking care, they shy away, they die. But even before that, that imbricata thing, before the rose cabbage plant, even before that, we actually had this old thorny plant in a clay pot at home that I thought was really weird because it had lots of thorns and it looked weird, but surprisingly, it's beautiful. Weird but beautiful. So, I didn't know. I wasn't really sure, honestly, whether I liked it or not. I loved it because it has flowers, red flowers, but it was full of thorns, and it was even more thorny than a cactus. Kasi may mga plants kami nun, mga usually cymbidiums. Yun yung paborito ni mama kasi yung mga cymbidium namin, hiningi nila dun sa friend nila and ang dami namin cymbidium noon. By the way, patay na rin yung karamihan sa cymbidiums namin ngayon. May mga natira pero wala ng bulaklak. Anyway, so there was this plant together with the other plants. It has lots of thorns, even more thorny than a cactus, or was it even a cactus? I didn't know. I wasn't sure, really. And it had no leaves, just flowers, red flowers. Sometimes it would put out a few leaves during the wet season, but I don't know, basta sometimes meron siyang may makikita akong paisa-isa na dahon. So I figured it was just struggling in its spot because it was very old and no one was really caring for it. And I don't know, or maybe it was just a bare plant. And it turns out that bizarre looking plant was actually a euphorbia crown of thorns. And yes, it is a succulent. It was a succulent. And I really liked it now. I really liked it now. But when I realized that I liked succulents, when I went back to that area, dun sa taas, sa likod, nandun kasi sila noon. When I was looking for that plant, it's gone. Where was it? And tinatanong ko si Papa kung tinapon niya or whatever. Sabi, hindi niya na rin alam kung ano yun. Kung naitapon niya, malamang naitapon niya na. Kasi mayroon kaming basurahan sa taas noon. And then, okay, wait. Are we still recording? Anyway, where were we? So, I really liked, so it was a Euphorbia crown of thorns. And yes, it's a succulent. I didn't know. And I really liked it now. I want one in different floral colors. That one was red. The flowers were red. That's why nagandahan ako kasi puro siya flowers, puro siya thorns. Hindi ko nga alam kung maganda o hindi. But cute yung flowers niya. But it was full of thorns. So, lagi ko siyang nilalagay sa gilid kung saan hindi ko mababangga kasi natutusok ako na nagagasgas yung paa ko, yung balat ko. Anyway, that one was red anyway. And back then, it was just there. It was just there at the corner, unappreciated. I didn't understand how rare it was. No, it's not really rare because Euphorbia crown of thorns is common, pretty common here in the Philippines. Nalaman ko na lang yan, mga yan lately na lang. So, Euphorbia crown of thorns actually is pretty common here in this tropical country of the Philippines. And you can see them anywhere. But I say rare in a sense that it was an old plant, a very, very old plant in that old pot. I think inaalagaan pa yun dati ng tita ko nung nandito pa siya sa Pilipinas, si Tita Lai. So, it's rare in a sense that it's an old plant in that old clay pot. And it was very much stressed out. Yun pala yung, recently ko na lang nalaman na yun pala yung kagandahan ng halaman na yun, na kahit na hindi mo siya diligan, magsusurvive siya. That's the reason why wala siyang dahon at puro bulaklak dahil ganun pala talaga yung quality ng plant na yun. Meron yung time na matutulog siya, mawawala yung leaves ng Euphorbia. So, in short, tulog sila nun sa season na yun. And then, mapuproduce lang siya ng flowers and then mapuproduce din siya ng leaves. So anyway, so in that sense, I would say that it was rare. And Euphorbia, like I said, it was a pretty common plant here. But anyway, sadly, it was already thrown away because of the thorns. I really didn't see it. It was just gone. I didn't know how it was thrown out or thrown away. Maybe my dad, maybe he retrieved the pot and threw away the plant together with the other basura. Kasi nagsusunog kami ng basura sa taas noon. Anyway, sadly, it's gone now. And looking back, I feel bad that I didn't take care of it. I realized I liked that Euphorbia only after it was already thrown away. So, nung hinahanap ko na, wala na. We never really appreciated it while it was around. We never appreciated it. Although, tanim siya ng tita ko yata eh. Tanim yata na yun ni Tita Lai. Siya yung madalas nagdidilig ng mga halaman nun. May mga tanim siya, rose, Tapos dinidiligan niya rin yung mga cymbidium. May mga cymbidiums kami sa taas. Anyway, so, nung nag-abroad na siya, nung umuwi na siya sa Guam, wala na rin yung plant. So, we never really appreciated that euphorbia plant while it was around. And mostly because of its thorns. And we didn't know anything about succulents or how beautiful they truly are in their own quiet way. And that plant had been thriving in neglect. That plant had been thriving quietly for years. And I had no clue. Looking back, it was such a unique plant. And it was old and full of character. And I wish I still had it. It would have been a treasure in my current collection because, you know, it's old, so it could have been one of my OGs, right? I mean, it could have been one of my OG plants because it was really old and full of thorns and beautiful. And then when it starts to flower with all the thorns and red flowers, it could have been one of the treasures here. And now that I finally want one like that euphorbia, I can't seem to find anything quite the same anymore. Kasi pag nakakakita na ako ng, simula nung natuto ako sa succulents, pag nakakakita na ako ng euphorbia, usually yung punong-puno ng dahon, masyadong healthy ba? Yung masyadong naaalagaan na diligan. Pero yun kasi is halos kalbo siya. Thorns and flowers lang talaga. So, it's a really old, nice, tough plant. And I couldn't find anything quite the same. Actually, pag naglalakad kami ni Doggy, ni Puppy, may nakikita-kita akong fully neglected din na euphorbia. It looks younger than my old plant, but it kind of looks the same. Puro siya thorns. And puro lang din flowers. And yung flowers niya is color white. I don't know, one of these days, pag nadaan kami ulit doon ni Papi, pag nag-jogging kami, nag-walking, kung makikita ko yung may-ari, hihingiin ko. Kasi andun lang yun, nasa gilid lang, di nila pinapakialaman. This one is gonna go into a different pot. Tingnan mo, tumubo na yung mga ugat dito. Tumubo na yung mga ugat-ugat dito. Hey, excuse me. Yan ang bunso ko na cat. I have 3 orange cats actually. So, yan yung bunso, anak nung si Cuddles. Anyway, ito, yung ugat nito, kita nyo ba? Tumubo na siya sa ganyan kasi nakapaganon siya. So, this is a Francesco Baldi. I still have one left. A couple more left, but this is gonna go into a wider pot. It turns out na itong potting session na to ay hindi matatapos kada daldal ko. So yeah, that answers the question, what was my first succulent? My first succulent was an Echeveria imbricata. But then even before that, we had a super neglected OG Echeveria, Euphorbia crown of thorns. So those were my first succulents. But when we had those succulents, we didn't know we had succulents. We just neglected them. But ang talagang nag-start na ng collection ko is yung binili ko dun sa garden ng pinsan ng friend ko. Okay. Ito. I don't know. Sana makasurvive ito. Kailangan kong lagyan to ng para yung dahon niya mag-sit sa rock. Hindi mabulok. Kasi kapag ka nag-touch sa soil, nabubulok, and very sensitive ang crested. And kailangan niya magkaugat dito. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put top dressing. Gusto kong i-minimize ang toppings sa mga newly potted plants actually kasi for aesthetics lang talaga ang gusto ko dito eh. Tignan mo, hindi naman siya talagang orange. Ewan ko kung ba't orange tong rocks na to. But, ang cute niya oh. Kamukha niya yung, is this granite? Is this granite? DC? Decomposed granite? Kamukha niya, pero alam ko hindi. Anyway, gagawin ko lang siyang top dressing to protect the leaves from rotting pag nabasa ng ulan. Yan. Mali ang gloves ko. Dapat hindi malagkit ang gloves ko. Anyway, there you go. There you go. If you remember in one of my videos before, I mentioned about a dream that I had. Someone gave me black, shiny black pebbles, rocks, gems. And I thought, oh, I wanted to use it as a top dressing for my succulents. That was a dream. And then that gave me an idea. Wow, ang cute ng black. Pero it was a dream, so yung rocks na yun, I don't know kung existing siya sa tunay na buhay. It exists, black pebbles. But then yung gems, I don't know, maybe it's just fantasy. Kasi it was from a dream. Yeah. Tignan nyo yung card dyan. Sa top right ng video. Ilalagay ko yung card kung saan ko minention yung dream na yun. Sa one of my videos. Anyway. Another question. So, that was your first succulent, but how did it turn into a full-on succulent addiction? How did it turn into a full-on succulent addiction? So, it started with curiosity. After buying a few succulents with my friends, where I was kind of reluctant at first, and then I began researching how to care for them, and then that led me down to the rabbit hole of succulent names, care tips, collecting guides. I found all these plant enthusiasts online, of course. Sa online lang. Pandemic noon eh. So, hanggang ngayon naman, pandemic pa rin. But anyway, so I found all these plant enthusiasts, collectors, hobbyists on different platforms, especially on YouTube, on Instagram, on forums. I found these two wonderful websites where they have a collection of plant names with all the genus and hybrids and cultivars, World of Succulents, tsaka yung Crassulaceae network. Yun, so basa-basa ako doon, research. And then I encountered people on YouTube like Laura Eubanks, Growing Succulents with Liz Create. Si Liz, Filipino siya na nasa Australia, Canberra. And she has a lot of collection. Tuwang-tuwa ako sa collection niya. And then, tuwang-tuwa rin ako sa enthusiasm niya tungkol sa succulents. Yan, pinapanood ko siya lagi. And then, The Morning Chorus. And then, Deborah Lee Baldwin. And then, recently si Arid Zine. Medyo bago-bago yung channel ni Arid Zine, pero na-encounter ko siya. And then, meron din yung mga male na collectors ng cacti. Yun, mga cacti naman ang fascination nila. Kaya, unti-unti na appreciate ko na rin yung cacti. Although, right now, Not yet. Na-appreciate ko na yung mga beauty ng cacti, lalo na yung mga bulaklak nila. So yeah, so that rabbit hole, long story short, yada yada yada, marami na rin tayong na-research, natutunan tungkol sa succulents. And what fascinated me most was how tough these plants are actually. Their resilience, their ability to survive, and still look beautiful while trying to survive. They still look beautiful doing it. That appreciation just grew deeper with each plant that I added. These are two different plants, but no, separate ko sila. So yeah, there. That's how it became a full-on addiction, I would say. Are we still recording? I'm not sure anymore. Next question. How many succulents do you have now? How many succulents do I have now? Rough estimate, 200, give or take. No, not 200. 300, 400, give or take. 500, give or take. Why? Kasi yung recent na napat natin is 50. Itong mga to, 36 plus 12 kung maubos natin. Anyway, marami na. 500, give or take. Sige, sabi mo na 500. 500 varieties. It's a small collection by collection standards. Like 500, hindi naman masyadong marami yun kasi libo ang succulents. But it's enough to keep me busy. It's enough to fill my balcony. Half of my balcony at least. Our balcony, not my balcony. So, some of those succulents I've propagated. Some are thriving. Some are... some I've killed. Definitely killed. And some are what I call seasonal, because they struggle during heavy rains or extreme heat. Seasonal, I mean, okay, ito na naman tayo tungkol sa season. We don't have 4 seasons in the Philippines. We only have 2. The rainy, the wet season, and the dry or the hot season, right? Rain or hot season lang tayo. But, meron yung time na considered na wet season siya pero dry siya. Walang ulan. Dry siya. Pero malamig. So that's September to December. Dry siya. So yun yung perfect na time para mag-grow ng succulents sa area ko. In my opinion. Wait, huwag nga yan dyan. And then, so I would call them the succulents seasonal because they thrive. Some succulents, they grow when it's raining. Some, they grow when it's hot. Something like that. So, aeoniums, as we know, dun sa area nila sa USA, sa Southern California. Aeoniums sleep during summer, but they thrive during spring, where there's a little bit of rain and a little cold. So, they start growing during spring season. But we don't have that in the Philippines. So, in short, kapag ka-dry at mainit, tulog ang aeoniums. So, dapat protektahan mo siya sa too much heat dahil maglalagas yung mga dahon niya and huwag mo masyadong diligan kapag mainit, ganun, yada, yada. So, anyway, so my succulents, I would call them seasonal because there are times when they grow and they struggle during heavy rains or extreme heat. So growing succulents in a tropical climate, it's really not easy. And I have learned how to observe how they behave over time. Some do well, surprisingly. Others just don't adapt. I used to want all the varieties before, like, kasi nga, pinapanood ko si, paano niya, Liz Create, Growing Succulents with Liz. So I used to want, wow, all varieties, all kinds of succulents. I wanted, like, sana meron din akong ganong klase ng collection, kako sa loob-loob ko. But, now I'm trying to be more intentional. So if it thrives here, it's great. But if it is a drama queen or a diva or it looks good at first but then it dies easily, maybe I'll give it a shot once or twice and then goodbye. I would move on. Also, because our space is limited, we have ilang square meters lang ng area ng balcony natin. So it's limited, so I have to be a little bit more selective with my purchases. Although last time talagang nag-mine ako, pero okay lang sa ngayon kasi last October, ni-rebuild ko ang aking, nagre-rebuild pa lang ulit ako ng collection dahil nagkamatay yung first, second, and third collections ko noon. So ngayon nire-rebuild ko ulit kasi once a succulent lover, hindi ka na, there's no looking back. I mean, talagang fascinated ka na eh. Gustong-gusto mo na sila. So, yun, bili pa rin. Pero, mas wiser na tayo ngayon. Hindi na, mas selective na tayo ngayon sa pamimili. Hindi na yung basta banat na lang ng banat. Tsaka yung, since nagre-rebuild, I think we're done recording. What are the biggest challenges of growing succulents in my area? The answer is humidity and heavy rainfall, for sure. So humidity and heavy rainfall. So the tropics, like our country, the tropics, it brings a lot of rain, right? And succulents are just not built for soggy roots. You really have to adjust everything. Your soil mix, you have to choose the right pots, you have to consider microclimates, sun exposure, airflow, all those things. So it's a whole balancing act. So I move them around constantly. So to find the right spot. I have a video there. So upper right corner, a card. I'll link you to that video where I tell different reasons why I move my succulents around constantly. It's like playing plant Tetris. It is to find the right spot for the plants when you chase sunshine and when you try to avoid too much moisture, exposure from too much moisture. So honestly, growing succulents in my kind of area, no, yeah, in my area. Honestly, growing succulents in my area is a kind of a joke. I just realized that late now. Um, it's a kind of a joke in a sense that why don't you just grow tropical plants? They thrive really nicely in your area, which is a tropical country, right? They love moisture, they love rain, they love sunshine, but why? So, yeah, it's a joke growing succulents here. But joke in a fun way, okay? In a fun way. What I learned from years of research in growing succulents, they're supposed to be low maintenance. They're supposed to be low maintenance, and that's what I thought. Because they can thrive in neglect, they can thrive even if you don't water them for a long time. They will survive in desert conditions. They're resilient, they're strong. So that means they can survive too much heat even if you don't water them. They have ways to survive even without water for days. So they're supposed to be low maintenance, but here in a tropical country they are not. But still, I like the challenge. I like the challenge, and they're very pretty, and it keeps things interesting, right? It keeps life interesting. I mean, what is life without plant drama, right? Sometimes we need a little plant drama. Yeah, succulent addict here. Okay. How do succulents benefit me personally? Well, just like any other plants, they give so much joy, right? So much joy. If you see how they shift, how their colors shift when they are stressed, or how pristine they look when they're happy, and seeing a perfectly grown rosette, or if you see a new offset, it's super, super, super rewarding. Plus, there's something really therapeutic about watching things grow, especially when they thrive despite the odds. Like, right? I mean, itong ginagawa natin ngayon, potting. Nagtatanim-tanim lang, nagre-relax. It is therapeutic, it is relaxing. And I've come to realize that gardening, especially with succulents, isn't just good for the soul, but it's surprisingly good for the body too. I mean, it actually has some real physical benefits too. Like, for example, lifting heavy pots, moving them around, and then moving them back again because you change your mind, or because you think it didn't look quite right, so you move it back again. And then watering, repotting, it's all low-key exercise. So who needs gym memberships, right? Who needs to pay for a gym membership when you can just lift pots? And you know what? The clay pots, the rectangular clay pot, that's not a joke. That's really heavy. So that is really heavy. The pot itself is already heavy. And then you put soil and plants, right? So I get a little bit of a workout. These pots, they weigh a lot, really. And also, another benefit is that there's definitely some science behind the good vibes. It brings the happiness. It brings may ano yan may back ng science yan. I-research nyo na lang. So, something about serotonin, happy hormones, right? So it's not just the peaceful vibe or the beauty of the plants, but the physical movement. It adds a whole other layer of goodness. Like, who knew a ghost plant or a cactus is a part of a wellness routine? Who knew, right? So this whole thing that we're doing right now, for me, it's a wellness routine. I mean, hindi ako mahilig sa mga spa and mga sometimes artificial na relaxation, mga artificial na happiness. But this brings a lot of joy. Of course, I still plan to grow edible plants. I still want to grow tomatoes, celery, cacti. Tomatoes, celery. Those things that you can use in the kitchen. I still want to grow those things. But succulents, they have a special place in my heart now. Na-awkward na ako magsalita kasi suddenly may dumating na mga linemen nag-aayos ng cable ng internet. I think may problema yung internet namin. Anyway, so do you plan to sell your plants eventually? Maybe in the future, to be honest. If I have extra plants, sure, I might sell them. But right now, I'm still rebuilding my collection, so I'm still holding on to most of my plants. I want to propagate them. I want to hold on to most of them. Usually, yung mga varieties ng plants ko, tig-isa lang. And so, they're still so young for now. So, for now, it's just for me and my little balcony. But who knows? It could grow into something more somehow. So, never say never. Never say never. This might turn into a business someday. So do you mean like selling plants? Maybe, part of it. I don't know, I really don't know. But right now it's just me and my balcony, and it's just a hobby right now. Na-awkward na ako kasi. Sinong kausap nun? Sabi siguro mga technicians sa baba. Are we still recording though? Are we still recording? Do we still have a couple questions? Oh yeah. Tatlong tanong na lang. So, next question. Next question. Why succulents and not cacti? Okay. So, why succulents and not cacti? Because cacti are pricks. Cacti are pricks, literally. I mean, I do love their flowers. I like some euphorbia. Some euphorbia have thorns, right? I love their flowers, but and I'm slowly starting to appreciate them more, actually. But like I said, I've followed some YouTube channels that grow cacti, and I've learned a couple things about cacti. I realized I kind of like the Lophophoras, the Astrophytums gymnocalycines. They don't have thorns, so those are exceptions. And then, even if they have thorns, they have beautiful flowers, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful flowers. So yeah, I do like cacti, but why succulents? Because they're pricks. Cacti are pricks, literally. I hate handling them. I hate handling them, and also it is because my balcony is a shared space with family and pets. So since it is a shared space, having prickly plants, actually, kapag naghahabulan yung dogs and cats, one time yung isa kong si lovely cat ko, si Cuddles, napunta siya sa dulo, dun ko nilagay pansamantala yung euphorbia ko na maraming tusok. Wala, tas mamaya halos nakahiga na siya doon. Ayun, tas mamaya tinignan ko, dinidilaan niya na yung balahibo niya, hindi ko alam kung natusok siya nung euphorbia. Euphorbia pa lang yun tsaka cactus na maliit. So may ilan akong cactus konti lang. Anyway, so it's not the best idea to having prickly plants around the balcony right now. It's not the best idea. So compared to tropical plants, which are cacti and succulents. And then also, why not tropical plants? Tropical plants are also beautiful, right? Yeah, I do like them. I have a few, actually. I have a few, what's this? Ano ba tong mapula na to? Ano ba to? Caladium? Ay, hindi. I have a few tropical plants. Philodendron. Ano nang pangalan na itong mga pula na to? Nakalimutan ko. Anyway, why not tropical plants? Why succulents? Why cacti? Because tropical plants grow fast. Very, very fast. Our space is limited, like I said, and our country is very much ideal for tropical plants. I see them every day. I see them everywhere. And I kind of I've just grown tired of, no, not tired. I like them, but when you see them every day, you just don't care. Parang kapag nag-abroad ka, kapag araw-araw ka nakakatikim ng bagoong, hindi mo masyadong pinapansin, right? Lady's choice, for example. Pag andito ka sa Pilipinas, di mo pinapansin ang lady's choice. Pero pag nag-abroad ka na, biglang, uy, magpadala ka nga ng lady's choice. Mga bagay na ganun. So, same is true with tropical plants. I mean, this is a tropical country. Tropical plants grow everywhere. They grow really fast. We don't have a big space. And succulents, I don't see them very often. So, yeah. So, what is more fascinating to me? Of course, succulents. Cacti, I do like them, but I don't want to handle them. So, yeah. The tropical plants, they're fast growing. They take up a lot of space. And succulents, they kind of grow slowly and they stay compact. So it is perfect for my small setup here in the balcony. How many succulents can you... Next question. How many succulent varieties can you name now? Well, more than I used to. I couldn't name any succulents when I started. But now I can recognize a good number. I can recognize echeverias, graptopetalums, graptosedums, euphorbias, etc. But their names exactly, I can recognize a few now. But of course, there are thousands and millions, lots of hybrids, lots of cultivars, and I couldn't name a lot. But now I can name more than I used to. Before, I don't know any succulent names. I don't even know what a succulent is before. I mean, nabisita lang ako one time sa orchidarium. And then, merong isang corner doon, isang area doon na ang pangalan, cactus and succulents. And then, chinek ko kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng cactus succulents. So, isa yun sa mga na-research ko rin dati. Like, oh, ganun pala. Meron palang halaman na ang pangalan ay succulents. So, ayun. Anyway, so, I can name quite a few succulents now compared to before, where I really don't know what they are and I don't even know what a succulent is. But I'm still working on pronunciation. I mean, how would you pronounce the succulents? Echeveria, graptopetalum, graptosedum, graptoveria, echeveria, yung pangalang yung hirap na eh. But what I know is, what I found sa research is echeveria, kaya siya echeveria or echeveria, is because it came from the name of an Italian ba siya? Yeah. Italian Italian guy na mahusay sa succulents. Anyway, so echeveria. So I would assume na ang pronunciation, echeveria. Di ba Italian? Echeveria. Di ko alam. Echeveria. Some would say echeveria. Of course, kapag ka-pronounce ng Americans, iba. Echeveria. Kapag pronounce ng Filipino, iba na naman. Pag pronounce ng Italian, iba ulit. Pag pronounce ng Australian, iba ulit. So, I don't really care about pronunciation. I'm still working on that, but spelling and also the names, some of the names are Latin nga ba? Ewan ko. Some of the names Latin. So, sa horticultural names, yung mga identification ng genus ng mga halaman. Sometimes nilalagay nila yung scientific name is Latin ba yun? Di ko alam. Anyway. So, yun. So, in pronunciation, mahirap. So kapag sinabi ko Echeveria, that is because yun na lang yung nakasanayan ko. And it's because iniisip ko, maybe, malamang ganun siguro pag-pronounce ng Italian. Echeveria, Echeveria, Echeveria. I really don't know. Okay, last question. What are your favorite succulent types? Eto na naman tayo. That is a tough question, to be honest. What are my favorite succulent types? Madami. Okay, so I don't have one favorite succulent type because I love Graptosedums. They grow really nicely in our area. They have those pastel, bright colors. I love Graptoverias, so that's a cross between Graptopetalum and Echeveria, Graptoveria, I think. And then, of course, I love the Echeverias. Echeverias, the rosette types. But they are a lot of Echeverias are hard to grow in our area, in my place. Kasi rosette type siya, so sometimes naiipon yung tubig sa gitna ng rosette. Pag nagrat yung gitna, rat na lahat. Compared sa Graptosedum, Graptoveria, pwede mo pang isave yung leaves and madaling tumubo. Pagputulin mo, madaling mapuputol. Pero pag Echeveria, pag yung gitna tinamaan na, wala na. Anyway, so I like Echeverias. I like sedums. I love sedums, but ang dami ring sedums na mahirap tumubo sa akin. Like yung mga jelly beans na sedums, naiinis ako dun sa mga... I used to have a beautiful, beautiful sedum blue tears, also known as sedum dasyphilum minor. Ito, gustong-gusto ko rin to, ruby slippers. Naputol lang siya dun sa mother plant, but I love that kasi velvet yung leaves niya. Anyway, so I love sedums, I love sediverias, and I like euphorbias. Ngayon na adik-adik na tayo sa succulent, na-appreciate ko na sobra ang euphorbia. Nag-start doon sa crown of thorns na kinikwento ko kanina. So, doon nagsimula ang aking fascination sa euphorbias. And na-realize ko na gusto ko ng euphorbias. I do also like cacti, the prickly ones, but of course, matusok sila, so hindi sila pwede right now. But I do like cacti. So, euphorbias. All of them, to be honest. But you know what? There are some kalanchoes that are sakto lang. Hindi ko masyadong paborito. Like, if yung papipiliin mo kung between some varieties ng kalancho or kalanchoe, between Graptosedum or kalancho, baka mas piliin ko palagi yung Graptoveria, Graptosedum, Graptopetalum, Pachyphytum, mga yun. Kalancho, mga ilan-ilan lang ang gusto ko sa kalanchoe. Alright. Crassulas. Gusto ko yung mga crassula. So, gusto ko yung mga I am drawn to pastels and plants with thick farina. But during rainy season, the plants with thick farina, they suffer. So I have to put them in a nice place. I also love the deep red, dark colored varieties. So, Echeverias. I like Black Prince now. Dati, ayoko nga siya dahil mukha siyang patay na halaman, di ba? But, turns out, bandang huli, gustong-gusto ko pala siya. Sayang. Namatay na mga Black Prince ko. Common lang siya noon, pero ngayon, gustong-gusto ko na siya. And then, I also love the deep red agavoides, mga Romeo, ganun. Pero mahirap. Ngayon, wala pa akong masyadong ma-acquire ng mga ganun. Meron yata akong ilan. And then, of course, don't get me started on the chubby ones, the moonstones, the jelly beans, the chubby ones that look like candies. I love those. They are just irresistible. the euphorbias. They fascinate me. They look like cacti, but they are not spiky. Not as spiky as cacti. I love their weird shapes. And then I think euphorbias are so cool because they look like cacti, but they are easier to handle, you know? And I guess it started with that old crown of thorns that we used to have. Huh. Anyway, someday, bibili ako ng crown of thorns. Magha-hunting ako ng crown of thorns ko. Alright, puro na to mga maliliit. Puro propagations na ito natira, at saka mga plants na hindi kakasya sa pots. So, I'm gonna put these propagations in a tray or a wider pot. So let me look for some. Anyway, that's all of the questions. So that's how our succulent journey began. And kwentuhan tayo. So, ikaw ba? How did your succulent journey begin? Paano ka napunta sa succulents? Paano ka na-addict sa succulents? Let me know in the comments. And we'll continue with potting these succulents. I'll finish everything that I can today, but I'm done with all the questions. So I'll see you in the next video, and check out my other videos as well, so you can get to know even more about my succulent journey. But for now, I've just posted a few videos kasi kaka-start ko lang ng YouTube channel. I think I have a question about YouTube channel. Hindi ko yata natakal yun. Anyway, you know what? We're gonna make a part 2 of this. So why did I build there was one question, why did I make a YouTube channel about succulents? Sa ngayon, just to document my journey. Kasi minsan namamatayan tayo ng succulents, di ba? And then, I don't know, I could use this channel to document my journey, legacy. Wow, legacy. And meet people, maybe. Meet people, join communities about growing cactus. So, gusto kong tong hobby na to. Natutuwa ako sa hobby na to. And I'm fascinated. And then it's a way for me. It's a creative outlet for me as well. That's why I made this channel, because I want to create things like arrangements, arts, everything, anything like that. So anything, relaxing siya. And anyway, it has physical, mental benefits. It's a good way to relax. Anyway, maybe there's gonna be a part 2 of this video. So if you have more questions about growing succulents, how I grow succulents, I have questions about me also. We can be friends, right? We can build a community together, or I can join your community. Let's do that. So let me know in the chats. Chat tayo. And in the future, who knows, I might make another question and answer portion of this video while potting some plants. Or we can just talk about succulents or cacti. And thank you for now. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll continue potting these things. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye. Bye for now. na lang siya. Dahil ang haba niya. Snare. That's really nice. I can put it under, but the cats are absolutely gonna mess with this. So I think I should put it underneath. Kaya lang, hindi kasha. Ganito na lang. Ilagay natin sa ilalim.